Children's Day that we are celebrating right here on ET Now with Buy Now, Sell Now. Like I said, our phone lines are open, so call in and send in all your questions and queries. We'll be answering them live. And on that note, let me introduce our guest for today. It's Lakshmi Iyer, the CIO of Fixed Income and Head Products with Kotak Mutual Fund. Lakshmi, always a pleasure to have you. Good morning. Thanks so much for joining in on ET Now. And I'm going to throw just a generic question at you first. For all the worried parents out there, especially the new parents, I must add that, because I'm sure they have a mountain of worries ahead of them, panicking perhaps given the fact that every single day, and of course off recently, the other trouble has been the higher crude prices. So expenses will only keep rising, and the only way to stem that is perhaps increase your income, but that too sometimes is dependent on external factors. So if you could just dole out some interesting tips for parents to be, or just new parents, on how they should essentially, without compromising their lifestyle, plan finances for their kids.
Sure. Hi, good morning to all of you, and indeed a very, very happy Children's Day. And I always believe Children's Day is for children as well as adults, because ultimately dil to bacha hai ji. To specifically answer your question, yes, there is a lingering concern in the mind of most parents, and also as individuals, specifically parents, new parents as well, that with the current expenses, and these expenses are only likely to mount, how should we really plan finances? More importantly, are they really aware of it? So one interesting piece of data, we all talk numbers, but very simple data to start off with, assuming you are, a family or a couple right now having an expenditure of maybe 40,000 rupees per month, just because of an inflation which is going to keep eating into this, on a year-on-year basis, this number has the potential, this 40,000 can go almost 3 times in less than 20 years. So which means a 40,000 rupee expenditure, and you are assuming that absolutely everything is fine, it can actually go up to as high as 1,20,000, assuming the same lifestyle. And therefore, the essence or the importance of ensuring that your income from your investments should be higher than your expenditure assumes a lot of significance. And therefore, I say that it's very, very important to start planning early, so that you don't have any negative surprises going into the future, because inflation is something which is inevitable. Whether you like it or no, it's going to be part of your lives.
Fair enough. So we're going to try and answer all the questions we've received from parents, whether they should tap into their retirement corpus, whether they should take an education loan, whether they should buy gold for their daughter, whether they should invest in FDs. All of those questions, we have Lakshmi to answer them. First up, we have a video query received from Mahira Sham, who is a teacher, and she has a 10-year-old son who, well, is attempting to be a YouTube sensation, Ayan Sham. So let's listen in to what her query is.
And I have my very own YouTube channel about dinosaurs.
Hi, I'm Mahira Sham, and I'm the pre-primary teacher librarian at JBCN International School. Since Ayan has been very small, he has been very passionate about animals, specifically dinosaurs. Though we don't know if that's what he would want to pursue, since he's only 10 yet. My husband is a businessman, and me being a part-time worker, we find little time to sit and discuss finances, especially related to his future education. And education costs today have only been on the rise. You almost need 1 crore for any kind of education abroad. So my question is, how much and how should we save? Please help.
Well, points taken, and yes, education abroad only goes higher almost every year, and Lakshmi, added to that is the weakness in the rupee, which once again increases costs for Indian parents to send their kids overseas. So in such a scenario, Lakshmi, of course, her son is only 10 years old, so he does have, I suppose, another 6-7 years before he could consider any education abroad. How much approximately, and how do you think they should save and invest their money for it to grow?
Sure. So for starters, Mahira, and this is the message to Ayan also, since he is a fan of dinosaurs, inflation is today's dinosaur. And while dinosaurs have actually become extinct in real life, trust me, this inflation dinosaur is going to stay for eternity. So if you have to plan to slay this dinosaur, whether it's in gaming or whether it's in real life for your investments, specifically given the fact that, you know, you have an education to look forward to, it's not going to be easy task. But let me tell you, it's not going to be impossible as well. So as I mentioned to you, if you assume that you have a kitty of say a 1 CR that needs to be planned maybe say 6 years or 7 years down the line, depending on whether Ayan wants to do undergrads or maybe you know, higher education outside of India, or for that matter within India. Outside India, you have to worry about the rupee as well, which I'll come to in a bit. My sense is do a reverse working, and systematic investment plans are one of the best ways, according to me, to be able to plan through this. And I say this because even I have a son who is age 13, and he has an SIP in his name for the past 5 years. So that you plan it in such a manner that by the time the age for which you are planning this education, so therefore the planning becomes very important, you actually have the desired kitty. And fortunately these SIPs are in equity funds, which have a tendency to give you, of course there is nothing assured, but they have a tendency to compound itself over the 5 to 10 year kind of an investment horizon. Additionally, on the rupee, if assuming, you know, you're doing this education outside of India, again, you cannot predict the tenure or the direction of the rupee with high conviction. But if you look at the past 15 to 20 years, the dollar rupee, or specifically the currency which is INR, has tended to depreciate on an average 2.5 to 3%. So given that kind of a pace, we should ensure that this investments more than takes care of a depreciating currency as also the rising inflation. When you probably get in touch with a financial advisor, which you must do given your husband and your schedule, he or she will also help you plan out a little bit of investments overseas, which could be a lump sum, a one-time investment to take care of this dollar rupee depreciation. But I think this is the way you need to do. Start right now. Don't really delay your investments in SIP. That would clearly be a prudent way for you to plan his education.
Well, Lakshmi, you said it perfectly. Inflation certainly is the dinosaur in today's ages, and it's roaring. And how so? Systematic investment plan, that's the way to go according to Lakshmi. Reverse plan it. Aim at what you're looking to collect 6, 7, 8 years down the line, and then decide how much essentially would you need to put aside from today. And you know, you can invest it in a systematic investment plan, which would not even require you to put in the entire amount at one time. So that's the way Lakshmi is essentially asking you to go about. Okay, we've received an email in fact right now, and it is from Pankaj Tanna. Pankaj says he has a 6-year-old child studying in school. They have started investing for the education, for her education, and they have opened a bank account as well in her name. They want to know if there are any other asset classes that they can look to invest in for her future. It's just a bank account at this point of time, Lakshmi, only 6 years old, so I suppose the time horizon is longer. Lakshmi, I suppose for such young children, I guess parents could take on a little more riskier asset.
Absolutely. I don't have a doubt at all in my mind. Again, a little bit of numbers, not to intimidate you into the world of finance, but to initiate you more meaningfully into the world of finance. If you take a track record of 15 years, and since your son is 6-year-old, you have a long time span. A typical traditional mode, a bank investment, like you mentioned, has the potential to give you a return anywhere in the range of 7 to 7 7.5%. And this is, again, as I said, I'm quoting you last 15-year data. Gold has given about 10 to 11% returns, but equities, which is where, I keep harping about all the time, given the kind of longevity that these kids have in terms of their timelines of investments, have delivered close to about 15% over the last 15 years. And this is all annualized returns. So therein lies your answer. I think it's time to wean out from traditional mode of investments like banks, specifically for children, and instill the value of investing into an asset class called equities at this point in time. And if someone says, oh, he or she is only 6 years, isn't it too risky? I would say that is the time to take all the risk. In fact, if I were to, step one level forward, even if your child is in the womb and at conception, immediately after that, also if you actually plan for investments into equities, it's absolutely acceptable. So I think equities would and should be the way to go for you. So move out from your bank into the world of equities.
Okay, excellent. Equities is the way to go. Your child is young, longer time horizon, take on some more risk, and returns as well will definitely be more. If the risk is more. So it's a chance you'll have to take. Lakshmi, stay on with us. We'll take a very short breather right here on Buy Now Sell Now Children's Day Special. But come right back. We've lots more queries that we're going to be taking on.
Rangwala. I am a psychologist and I am a part-time working mother. Alara has been receiving a lot of money since she was born as gifts for festivals, for her first birthday, and I'm sure she's going to receive a lot more money for her upcoming and following birthdays. What do I do with this money that I can invest it in a way that I can really see it grow and that she'll have something on hand when she gets older, when she's of college age, and she can make real use of it for her education or for her future life purpose?
Okay, it's a very pertinent question that Seema has, and Lakshmi, given the fact that the occasion of Diwali was just behind us, I'm sure a lot of children have received a lot of money from their grandparents and relatives, which I'm sure they want to blow away in candies, but parents must have picked up that money and just perhaps put it in their closet. So Lakshmi, what would you advise? How should this money essentially be invested? What are the best investment avenues? This money may not be that large, in terms of their chunkiness, but still over the years maybe kids like Alara may have accumulated a lot of money. So what should they do? How should parents invest this money?
Whether we are kids or adults, we all love receiving gifts. It's just that kids receive more of, money, more of gifts in cash, and few of us even have stopped receiving it in kind. But I think the beauty of these gifts are that, as Seema rightly pointed out, she wants to see it grow. And I think that's what we all would like to have. And since this money typically comes in lump sum, there is no regularity with respect to the amount or the periodicity. So it could be a birthday, it could be a Diwali, it could be just Children's Day, for example. It could be various such occasions. What I would suggest is take this entire lump sum and put it into any diversified equity fund or a balanced fund, because balanced fund, or maybe it's now called the aggressive equity hybrid funds. So these funds predominantly invest in equity markets, and funds like the aggressive hybrids also make small tail end allocations to fixed income. So the benefit or the advantage of making such lump sum investments is that And since your child is young, there is a reasonable clarity that you will keep getting money over various occasions, but lump sum would be the way to go for you. And there used to be earlier, you know, these days where kids used to put this in their piggy bank. My son used to put this in the piggy bank, and then we opened a bank account for him, and then money used to go there. But I think as you know, financial literacy is creeping into children, because you know, financial literacy is being introduced in schools. I think the power of compounding has been initiated at a young age. So I would suggest a combination of either a diversified equity or an aggressive equity hybrid fund and a lump sum investment over a systematic investment to take care of this money.
Okay, yes, I think that's the best part of being a child, right? You get more money, at least from an adult's perspective. But you can't use that. Yes, invested in diversified equity funds and balanced funds. That's a strategy Lakshmi would suggest adopting when it comes to this corpus of funds that kids do tend to accumulate from their grandparents, from their relatives, on first birthdays, second birthdays, different milestones in life, invested in these equity funds. And Alara is young. Again, time is on her side. So she does have a longer term time horizon. Risky assets is the way to go. Let's get back to answering all the queries that we've been getting in on this occasion of Children's Day right here on ET Now. You just heard out what Lakshmi had to say when it comes to Seema's question. Now let's move on and bring on board Ami Merchant's query. She is a teacher and she has a 7-year-old daughter, Suha Merchant, who interestingly at this tender age has already developed herself as an entrepreneur. Listen in.
Merchant.
And my name is Soha Merchant. I make my own bath products in the name of Mishkino.
Designing and making these bath products right from the time she was little, as she saw me making them. She managed to even sell them and make a tidy little profit. My question is, how can I invest this money for a future education?
Well, what can we say about the enterprising nature of the kids nowadays? 7-year-old and she already is into the business of making bath products. Very interesting. I wonder if using them would make my skin as amazing as hers. But well, that's a question for another time. But Lakshmi, she's making a tidy profit as well out of this little home business that she is running along with her mother. Only 7 years old. How should she go about investing this money, this little profit that she is making? Lakshmi, please give your advice.
Sure, I think Soha is doing a wonderful job that of being an entrepreneur at such a young age, so much so that she understands what is the cost price and therefore what's the profit. So I think that's very fantastic. My son also does this. He makes slime and he tries to sell the slime and make some money out of it. Not very successful because studies don't permit him to do that. But I think one intrinsic thing about whether it's slime or whether it's bath products, specifically bath products here because Soha makes them and she understands them well, is that they dissolve in water, and that's when the fragrance or the beauty of the product unfolds. Now, unlike the dissolving nature, the money that you make as profit, we cannot let that dissolve. So how do you let that grow? Because when you make it grow, that's when you get more money for your future, which is for education or probably setting up an entrepreneur entrepreneur scale kind of a thing in future. So I think what is the need of the hour for Soha is that you make an asset plan, like the way when you make your bath product, you decide how much of baking soda, how much of oil in the right proportion. I think what you require is a proper asset allocation in the right manner, with obviously an overweight of equities, since the nature of the profits can be high, low, can be disproportionate, it's lumpy in nature. I think the advice would be to go in for lump sum, make one-time asset allocation, and with the help of an able financial advisor, review that on a periodic basis. I think that would be the way forward, but I think asset allocation will be the key for you going forward.
Very interesting advice. Profits, of course, are not consistent. One time it may be a great time, one time may be a great period. The other times it may be a bit of a lull. So a lump sum asset allocation is what Lakshmi is advising. And you know, Lakshmi, with your 13-year-old and Soha at 7, I think we both must be wondering what we did when we were at their age, probably just goofing around, I'm sure. But that's, I suppose, the specialty of kids nowadays. Let's move on, and we have got another email.
Climbing trees.
Oh, absolutely. But let's bring on board another question. We've just got an email from Tarana. Okay, she has a very interesting question. She's asking, are there any mutual fund schemes that are specially curated for children? And she wants to know if she would invest in them. And are there any specific schemes that you would advise? Lakshmi, I think you'd be best poised to answer this question. What would you advise Tarana?
No, so my answer to Tarana is that yes, there are schemes which are called, say, children's plan or whatever it may be, but let me give you an analogy, and I'm a foodie, so let me give you a food analogy. A rum cake does not mean there is no flour, there's no sugar, there's no egg in it. There is a dash of rum, but the entire ingredient is not rum. So what I'm trying to tell you via this analogy, it's not necessary that only a child's investments need to be made in a children plan, because the underlying asset class is predominantly either equity or maybe some traces of fixed income. So for starters, is it mandatory or necessary that I make investments only in mutual fund schemes which say child plan, etc.? The answer is no. You can choose any diversified equity mutual fund if you want to be overweight equity or a combination of debt equity. All of that is available. The good news is that with white labeling and I would say categorizing product labeling in mutual fund industry, it has become even more easy to be able to identify, say, a large cap fund, a mid cap fund, etc. So I think go ahead, don't get carried away just by the name, make investments for your child. I think that's very, very critical.
Okay, excellent. Lakshmi, it was a very interesting conversation we just had with you. Thanks so much for joining in on this occasion of Children's Day with all your very interesting analogies to help make it easier for parents as well to understand on how they could invest their various sources of income into different schemes, into different assets to be able to grow it for their children. It's of prime importance, of course, to do that and use the occasion of Children's Day as an excuse perhaps to go ahead and secure your child's financial future. Lakshmi, thanks so much again for joining in. Well, we'll very quickly take a very short break right here on the show, but don't go anywhere. We have a very interesting conversation that's going to come up between Feroz Aziz and 28th graders of JBCN International. Come back.